Hey guys, it's Alam. So for today's video, I will start things off in the beta 1.202 long limit mod. Let's start this last day here. There. So today's video will actually be my final Farlands investigation video. Now to start things off, let's do /CP 34,398,000, 35,450, and then 150, and then negative 34,059,740,000. So right now I will actually teleport to all the biome fill corner farlands in the different quadrants. Got a rather interesting spawn here actually. And in this case, the corner variation of the biome fill farlands is actually all stone, which is really an infinite basin. So there really is two variations: the wasteland, which is this, and the grassland, or the soil, the all soil version. There's the corner. Now you can see how, because of the way the stone basin actually removed the surface block, the topmost surface block, there's actually gaps in the topmost layer here, so it's only one block thick. And for the same reason, if the biome fill corner farlands were the all stone variation, the sky grid would not generate if we were to get to like 45 septillion blocks out on both axes. Oh, it would only generate underwater. Alright, now let's head to negative 730. What was the offset on the offset in the positive direction was, I believe, about 3,000 blocks. So let's head to this thing. So for 1,050 and 34,359,736,950. There. See a normal stone basin here. And then there's the biome fill farlands. Not sure if that's the beginning over there, or it's just a desert biome. Yeah, it's just a desert biome. There, you need to head further west a little bit to see the biome fill farland in the negative direction. There it is. So in this case, the biome fill corner farland seems to be generating south in the southwest. This would be all grass variant. Let's see what's under the snow here. Yep, just grass. Now let's try in both negative direction. There. You can see the beginning right there. Biome fill farland. But in this case, it seems to be generating. Okay, let's use F4 times. Yeah, notice how the start is much blockier in the negative direction. This is actually due to the interpolation values immediately starting at -2 to 30, or not the interpolation values, the input for the equation that then gives the interpolation values just starts right away at -2 to 32, the remainder that is used for the equation. Alright, anyway, it's all grass here as well. Now let's head to 1,4,065,920, 100, and 1,4,065,812. There. This will put us around the beginning of the Farlands once again. I noticed this weird pillar here. But take careful note of the terrain when I'm facing this way. So there's this top layer here, as you already know in this spawn, and the bottom layer down here, the low layer. So now, observe the terrain when I'm facing this way. So now let's head to 1,465,917, and let's put 90 on the Y, and then 1,029,000,000. You can see that the topmost layer is gone now. I actually found this earlier when exploring this seed with my mod on beta 1.7.3, where I set the multiplier of the z-axis to 1,000,000 and left the x-axis unchanged, of course. There. And now let's head to 1,4,065,000, and it's 90 and then 50 billion. So in the final state of the corner farlands here, the topmost layer is actually comes back, but the low layer is gone. So there's only ocean below. It actually is ice here. Yeah. Let's do that 4 times again. Alright. So let's head into video setting here. And since the graphics are fast, if all goes well, you'll see why later in the video. And a little bit later in the video. And yeah. So now, the part you've all been waiting for. Let's head to 150, and then 9 quintillion, 223 quadrillion, 332 trillion, 36 billion, 854 million, and then 770,000. This will put us very close to the hard limit. So with the stripe lens fixed off, you can barely see anything at this point, actually. You can roughly make out, like, waterfalls. And stuff. Within. Now, if I do turn the stripe lens fix on here, you will see the terrain loading in. And chunk rendering is very glitchy as far out. Now, I'm actually not sure if you can tell if we're beyond the hard limit in this mod, but I'll try that for you guys. More than likely. 10 quintillion blocks. There. That put us just out in the middle of nowhere. And we actually can't move at all. Much like beyond 30 million and 32 in the versions after the Farlands removed. You can see the clouds are stretched there here. And that's actually because the cloud map gets stuck at the max value after the 64-bit limit. Yeah. And I would show you guys the fancy cloud rendering limit at about 110.6 about 110.7, a bit less than 110.7 quintillion, equivalent to 25 billion, 16 million, 3,000, big 1.7.3. But that would actually be pretty hard to show you guys. I almost got stuck there for a second. But the reason why it happens is because the clouds render in 12 by 12 chunks, and of course, the clouds will disappear at 12 times the 32-bit integer limit, or in this case, the 64-bit integer limit. And it's probably because the game will try to render clouds from the maximum value all the way to an overflowed value, which is actually much smaller. I'm not overly sure. But for this mod, I pretty much explored all of it. So check out. So guys, I'm back. This time in my mod on beta 1.7.3. Now if this spawn looks familiar to you guys, it's actually the same as the spawn that I had in the beta 1.202 long limit mod world. Because I actually got the seed on that world and use it here. And the noise settings on this world, or the noise multiplier X, is set to 1 undecillion, or 10 to the 36. So 1 block on the x-axis on this map is equivalent to an undecillion blocks on the x-axis in a regular world, while 1 block on the z-axis is still the same as 1 block on the z-axis in a regular world. So you can see the line right here, which actually remains unchanged from its final thickening to a point that you guys will see in a moment here. So right now, the point I'm at right now is equivalent to about 2.8 times 10 to the 39 blocks on the x-axis, but the z-axis is still the same as in a regular world. And right here, you guys can actually see the first degrading of the artifacts that you may have noticed in the edge variation. And there's already some combed L-shape, some cane-like structures. There's a little bit lower down. All these things. And let's head over this way. Keep heading this way. And some of the layer is already degraded into sky grid, actually. And right here, about 3.132 times 10 to the 39th on the x-axis on a regular world, you can see most of the artifact in the edge variation of the farther lands and degrade into these home artifacts and the fringe lands. And note that the coordinate will actually vary on the x-axis depending on the z-axis, depending on where the z-axis is. Like these x coordinates are really only applied at 1.04 billion on the z-axis. If my z coordinate is like 1/10 of, or say 100 million, as opposed to about a billion, the degrading would actually be further out in the x-axis. Right here at 3.348 times 10 to the 39th on the x and 1.04 billion in the z, the low layer finally thins out the sky grid, but the line is actually still generating, even as most of the artifacts around it have already degraded into these 4-block strips or sky grid like terrain. But really, the degrading begins at about 8.175 times 10 to the 48 blocks in the x-axis, when the z-axis is between negative 12,550,824 and positive 12,550,821. And then as the z-axis, as we move throughout beyond 12,550,821, the z-axis, the degrading will begin to move closer in on the x-axis, and at 1.04 billion in z, it is once again on the order of in the duodecillions range, and it meets a diagonal in the septillion, at about 45 septillion. Now right here, you can finally see the line begin to thin out at 4.292 times 10 to the 39th blocks. And if I travel a little further, at 4.392 times 10 to the 39th blocks, so exactly 100 undecillion blocks later, it becomes dotted. So let's head out to this map now. And let's just hop into my original corner fringe lands map. There. So you can see it is turning night here. So if I teleport to, say, 3,100, and then 3,000, let's do 150, and then 3,000. Already nothing generates except the ocean down the bedrock. So let's try, actually I need to close out, you got 3 here. Okay. Try half the distance. In this map, 1 block on the x-axis, and actually not just in the x-axis, on both 1 block on both axes actually is equivalent to 10 to the power of 23 blocks in a regular world. But here so this is actually equivalent to about 150 septillion on both axes in a regular world. You can see that the sky grid is much thinner than it was at about 45 septillion on both axes. I actually forgot to show this before in my previous video on the mod. You can actually see the layer coming to an end right here at about 4 times the distance of the initial degrading of the corner farlands on both axes. Now, I also got a suggestion to check out the farlands in the Twilight Forest mod, but as of this recording, I have not yet received the mod. So yeah, I might insert a clip later if my viewer sends me the mod. But yeah, guys, that's about it. I hope you all enjoyed this wild ride. Now, after this video, I will make many more Minecraft creative videos, and you can actually expect me to upload a little less frequently since these projects in my world actually take time for me to build. Yeah. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell and click on all for all notifications. And goodbye.